Impala? Are you there?
Theodore? We are in the hellish realm, where all logic and material laws have disappeared. They all have been replaced with confusion, darkness, demons, Seaman. It's like we were inside of a meta undercover.
Wait. We are in...
Hey, Theodore, I think we're in the warp. Make sure you clench your butthole so no heresy gets in.
We are in the warp. The realm of chaos? Heresy! Heresy everywhere!
Do not worry, Theodore. If we just focus on our task at hand and ignore the unimaginable horrors we'll face in this realm, we can surely survive for at least one day or two.
My head is exploding!
Well, that's just fantastic. All of our troops are dying. Hey, Dominic, are you dying?
Are you kidding? I've never felt more alive. This is just like when I'm doing the spook.
No, this is but a minor setback. I shall come and reunite with the Emperor, my father and myself. No demonic realm shall stop me from fulfilling my fate.
Greeterlings!
What? Demon? No.
That is a good-looking beard you have there, sir! I too have a beard. Have you seen my beard? It is full of tiny men. Please, kill them all!
Alright, lads. Everything's gone quiet outside. I wonder what's going on right now.
Bugger if I know, all of our scanning equipment's been broken. Damn bombardments and...
I don't know if I'm the only one that's noticed this, but we're all out of food too!
That's mostly because you've eaten it all, you fat bastard. Alright, everyone settle down. If there was something out there, we would have probably grabbed its attention by now. Wait, here. Hang on a minute.
What's that?
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, I hear it.
Yes, actually I hear that too. What the devil is that?
Hello? Hello? Hey there! Is anyone in?
Who is this?
It's Slash Patrol! We're breaking into your base! Everyone say hello to our new friend!
Shit.
Hello! Is anyone here? We're coming in! We are going to skull fuck your families! And goodbye, you're dead! Now who could that be? Okay, I'll be back in a second, gal pals. Let me just check who this is. Hello? Oh boy, what's up, Fulgrim? Long time no hear from your sexy self. Yeah, I'm good. How about you? Great to hear, darling. Uh-huh. Oh, is that so? He's there too? Well, why don't you put the cutie on? Happy! How are you doing? Dominant as always. I like it. Yeah. Ooh, you're holding another one of your huge patties? Oh boy, I'd love to come. No, I don't have any plans around that time. So, it's a date. I'll see you there, handsome. Oh, and could you put Fulgrim back on? Thank you. Hello again, babe. Yeah, I got the message. So I guess I'll see you there. Love you too. Bye. Hey, everybody. Well, boy toys, you'll never guess what. We have a party to prepare for!
Make them suffer!
Alien fiends!
Stand back, I'll show you how it's done!
My vocal range is not broad enough to cover the whole thing properly. Good morning, my Emperor!
If I needed help regarding this, why, for the love of all gold-plated plant life on Terra, would I ask you? It would be like looking for advice about depression medication from a precarious obscure addict.
If you're as omniscient as you think you are, then you should know how right I am. My experience in the matter does give me a level of expertise. After all, I'm a Daemon Prince, for crying out loud. I'm literally made of warp stuff.
One would think that after all the stunts you pulled, you would have some kind of discretion over the atrocious amount of shittery you have been spewing everywhere. If anyone has the right to say I told you so, then I should have set up a parade with banners and streamers and clowns and whatever else just for you.
I'm not saying I told you so, I'm just saying that you and I both know damn well that you're ridiculously narrow-minded on the matter. It's just the way things are, and you know it.
Son, I'm the motherfucking Emperor. I can alter whatever I desire. I am like a glorious golden god. Except I am not, of course.
And look where your meddling has gotten you. Oh, in addition, aren't you the one who said you didn't want to play God?
That is my tirage coming straight from the vile warp vent of a fucking demon prince. Do you know, there is a difference between actually having the powers and distinguished looks of a god, and wanting to be worshipped as one.
Good morning, you two. I know you're busy stabbing each other with word chips right now, but...
About guard smacking time you got here. Where is T, Sonny?
Well, I was disintegrated by a warp bolt when I walked into your room.
Damn you, Magnus. Your unregulated psyker powers have caused yet another disaster.
Me? You're the decaying force of nature who literally defecates warp storms whenever he tantrums.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. I'll just, go and make some more tea later. To avert the creation of another Eye of Terror on Terra, I think I need to ask something.
Well, that is what I pay you for, isn't it?
What does pay mean? But, yes. What are you two arguing about?
My senile old bone sack of a father is almost as deluded as his foolish worshippers. He truly believes that chaos is nothing more than an utterly negative force which needs to be destroyed.
In all my 48,000 years, I have not had much inclination to the contrary. Almost every single thing wrong with mankind is the fault of chaos. It's gods and their worshippers. If only humanity had listened to me and ignored chaos and all the arm-wavy religious crap, we would be well on the way to perfecting humanity as a species, and I would be way less spooky looking.
Wait, so you're not arguing about what happened yesterday? The whole sending the entire Inquisition to the warp and convoluted plans thing?
No, we finished arguing about that hours ago. Were you not paying attention?
You sent me to get tea.
And you took your sweet-ass time doing that, did you not? What were you doing? Trying to be all cheery cherry cream puff or something?
Maybe?
You scare me when you pretend to have emotions.
So what did you decide on?
None of your concern. Corn cob, it will all be resolved at a later date.
Oh. Okay.
Back to the Butchie Brannigan at hand. Where were we?
You mentioned how you tried telling humanity to throw religions out a window, and ironically to never question you about it. Was it my turn to grumble or yours?
I guess it's your turn to grumble. Go ahead. What is so funny, Chuckleshits? I thought we were grumbling here.
Your great intellect really must be splintered. I have no reason to lie to you, so before you spew that whole noise of the heretic drivel at me...
I am not some crazed old zealot from the first Dark Ages, son. Do you know how I feel about overuse of such terminology?
Haven't you noticed what a spectacular comeback that word has made as of late?
You have sullied your hands with filthy parchments of heresy, guardsman. How do you plead?
What? No!
Too late, heretic.
You inspire your men to study such foul smut, Commissar? You heretic!
Detestable mutants fill your heads with such vile obscenity! Die, heretic! Maybe just one read.
Sister, I need your blood to... Oh, hold on. You're a heretic!
You know what? They're just running around shooting each other down there. Better just lay the exterminatus upon these heretics. Alright, fire!
Oh, do not get me started.
Anyway, that's not the point. You see, chaos, the warp, all of that isn't just some demonic realm of nasty, horrible things. It's much more important than that.
I know this already. Its true nature is that it is the realm of the collective spiritual subconscious of every single soul-possessing species in the galaxy. In other words, the realm of souls.
Right.
And it is shitty, and requires some serious unfucking.
And this is where the senile ramblings come back in. Let me say something I learned while reading all those forbidden tomes with you. Do you remember back when you told humanity that there would be no gods? You said no religion, no worshipping of anything, and thus you figured the Chaos Gods would become completely irrelevant and thus starve to death, right?
Yes, which is exactly what I wanted, and almost what happened.
You were inadvertently creating a whole new Chaos God.
Come again?
Because it was not worshipped in the conventional way, its name never became revealed to mankind, but you were creating a Chaos God of unbelief, and you were becoming its champion, perhaps even its avatar.
That has got to be the single dumbest thing I have ever heard in my entire life, and that is coming from a half-dead skeleton that has been stuck on a life-sustaining god couch for the past 10,000 years.
Well, believe it or not, that's what was happening. You see, Chaos isn't some Saturday morning cartoon villain that you can just defeat. It's a force of reality itself, and the more you try to control and restrain it, the more it will act against you. It's a reflection of those who empower it, who in turn it empowers. Just as gravity dictates how objects are pulled towards each other and energy condenses into matter and form, so too does chaos function as yet another celestial process. You should know and accept that by now.
That is all well and true, but that does not make it not dangerous. Stupid, dangerously stupid, and stupidly dangerous. You should also know and accept by now that things which are factually correct can still be unfathomably idiotic.
Well, I suppose you're right in that sense. Ever since Slanesh was murder-fucked into existence, things have kinda got out of hand.
Hands off my quips, Chili Pepper. Get your own.
Can I possibly ask something?
You are paid by the hour, not by the question.
Right, but if what Magnus is saying is true...
Which it is.
And the warp is a reflection of the subconsciousness of all mankind, does that mean we're all horrible, terrible, awful people?
On the inside, yes, absolutely disgusting. I am outside of that cycle, you see, so it does not apply to me because, do you know, I am pretty much perfect and all that, or I used to be anyway, when I still had good old boners done. But yes, this is why I have been trying to guide mankind all this time. Humanity gets to collectively create its own realm with their subconscious thoughts, and you fill it with paranoia, fear, blood, Brussels sprouts, and self-contradictory bullshit. It is like you are all mindless man-children, scribbling dicks in your notebooks when you should be paying attention to the lessons that I am trying to fucking teach you.
Those students and you have perfectly synergetic personalities, for the record.
Oh. Now I feel terrible about myself. Worse than ever before.
Good. That is a step in the right direction.
But I don't understand. If the warp is the realm of souls, then how do psychers work? Aren't they using witchcraft and demonic rituals to attain unholy power?
To the ignorant and untrained eye, it would certainly seem so. However, it's actually much simpler than that. Some people have a natural ability to channel the warp's power more than others, just like how some people have other genetically determined talents or abilities. Since a warp is based on the power of emotions, one can use this ability to channel their own willpower and bend the world around us. Just as we change the shape of the warp with our own minds, so too does the warp allow those talented enough to change reality.
What did I say about fireballs in the throne room?
Yes, I need to ask you first. Sorry, Dad.
That is better.
As I was saying, the stronger your connection to the warp, the stranger you become in the eyes of others. This may make you feel incredibly lonely and ostracized, but don't worry, as a psyker you're never alone. You've now got a whole lot of extra dimensional attention from daemons and the like to keep you company in those cold, dark nights. Suffice to say this, combined with the fact that possessions are a thing, is the primary reason why psychers are usually seen as horrid witches that need killings.
Ah, well, that does explain something. It means I'm definitely not a psyker after all. Wait, what about the great enemies of man? How does all of this explain the dark gods, demons, and all of that?
Have you ever heard the saying, we all have our own personal demons?
Yes.
Think about that phrase, and take into account what Magnus just said about the warp. Now apply the resulting realization to the entire population of a galaxy.
Oh. It's worse than simply being a hellish realm, isn't it?
Oh, little gold sparkle, it is much, much more than that. Every single thought or feeling you've ever had, both consciously and subconsciously, becomes reality in the warp. Every single human emotion becomes a power. Every single metaphor becomes a literal meaning. Everyone's wishes, dreams, desires, fears, and nightmares are incarnated. Of course, the reason the warp is so corrosive and horrifying is because so many conflicting and contradicting ideas are floating around inside of it. And the gods are in fact collective subconscious constructs that reflect crucial mental aspects of all life. Daemons are shards of their respective gods, much like individual cells make up an organism.
If that's true, then why are they so, completely horrible and evil? I mean, we can't all be 100% evil all the time, can we?
Of course not. Something which people seem to forget, including the gods themselves, is that they represent all thoughts and emotions, the good, the bad, and the ugly. For example, Tzeentch may be a cruel and devious trickster, but he's also a force of progress and a beacon of hope. Change, after all, is neither innately benevolent or malevolent, but it sure as shittling isn't the same as it was before.
This sounds like propaganda.
Well, you know it is true. Without Tzeentch there would be no malicious schemes, but there would also be no one clever enough to save people from those schemes. Nothing would ever get done, and we would fall into an eternal stasis of static karma. And that is what Nurgle represents. Stagnancy, a lack of change, inevitable eternal cycles of decay and renewal. But he also represents the resilience, resolve, and solidarity to face those same unsettling inevitabilities.
In short, if everything is shit, why worry about it? That is why his followers are so disturbingly, insufferably cheerful even when most of their entrails are on the wrong side of their ribcage.
Without Nurgle, there would be no consistency, safety, or comfort in living and dying. In fact, there would be no consistency at all. All those cycles of decay and renewal are just the circle of life. In fact, Nurgle is technically nature incarnate.
Is this really true?
To be honest, even taking into consideration that this is about as batshit fucking crazy as Conrad Curse, all of this about the gods is actually correct. He is still being an ass barrel though.
Absolutely, they both are. I'm not gonna argue that.
I was referring to you.
Sure.
What about the others? If Tzeentch is progress and Nurgle is nature, then what the hell are the other two meant to be? What possible purpose could they have besides creating massively unnecessary amounts of death and suffering?
Well, Khorne may be a force of merciless, mindless slaughter and hatred, but that's because he prescribes to another natural concept, survival of the fittest. Strength and skill are all that matters to him. He also represents justice, vengeance, and honor, so unlike the others, Khorne would never try to trick you and stab you in the back.
He will just stab you in the face, over and over again, until your face stops resembling a face.
Without him, there would be no honesty, no strength to fight against injustice. And speaking of injustice, Slaanesh may be a horrifying, cruel, torturous fiend that breaks minds and inflicts untold suffering, but it also exudes just as much joy, freedom, and expression and happiness.
Because hello, someone has gotta be enjoying your pain and agony after all.
It's ironic, yet it makes sense. Slaanesh is formed from the extremes of emotional experience, representing both joyful freedom as well as crippling suffering. Without Slaanesh, there would be no happiness and no grief to make those happy times mean anything. And that's why you can't just kill them. The universe needs chaos to survive. Destroying chaos would basically destroy the entirety of the human psyche.
And that is where you fall into the pit of objective incorrectness, you pile of bratwursts. I can defeat chaos, and I must, for the good of us all. I accept that what you say is true, Magnus, but I must bring peace to humanity and the entire galaxy. And so long as chaos exists in its current state, this goal will never be achieved. I must defeat those four giant floating reality tumors.
Oh, really? Well, do enlighten me and explain how you're going to You're going to say, I can't tell you now, but you'll see and understand all in good time, aren't you?
You did not need telepathy for that, now did you?
No, I'm just used to hearing that kind of thing by now.
I know it is not what you want to hear. After all we have been through, but my son, I cannot tell you now. I will tell you when the time is right. Understood?
Didn't you say that no curtains were to cover up your plans for the future this time around?
No, seriously. If I told you this, it would totally ruin the surprise. Not to mention the risks involved.
Well, alright. but just for this one occasion.
Thanks, son. Just trust me this time, and do not let a flying space octopus convince you to turn on us all again, okay?
Okay.
So, if you knew all this, why did you fall in chaos at all? And being all demonic and stuff? How does that work for you anyway?
To answer the less personal question first, Daemon Princes are always former members of a soul-bearing species who have had their soul removed by a Chaos God and replaced with a humongous mass of warp energy. This turns their bodies intangible and charges them with infernal power, basically turning them into a daemon.
These kind of surgeries should be universally illegalized.
Anyone or anything that undergoes this process must have great amounts of willpower to retain any of their personality. If they don't, they become mindless chaos spawns. If they succeed and survive the process, well, it's hard to explain. Since warp energy is basically just raw, undiluted, and unrefined soul stuff, it serves roughly the same purpose as a soul, with the benefit of being way more powerful, at the expense of being way less stable. It actually takes quite a bit of effort for me to retain this humanoid form right now.
Oh yeah, I remember what your true form looks like now. I bet looking like that makes you feel really proud of yourself.
Dad, we agreed not to talk about that.
About what?
Nothing. Not a thing. Nothing at all.
And this was the less personal question?
Changing the subject, now that I have my soul back, I feel weird. I guess I'm some kind of half-daemon now?
I would laugh at how silly and full of angst that idea sounds if it were not for it being true. Actually, fuck it, I will laugh anyway.
Now, as for your other question, I didn't know all of this information at first, meaning I couldn't make informed decisions back then. I mean, it's not exactly common knowledge. For some reason! I only learned after it was too late to turn back. As for why I didn't try to change my ways, to be honest, I'm not even sure myself anymore. I didn't think there was a way out, and I didn't know where I stood or whose side I was on anymore. From my experience, I'm not sure there were or even are sides to take. I felt, and still feel, betrayed by everyone I trusted, but I also felt like I was betraying myself.
Whatever side you took seems to have edges so sharp you could cut through power armor with them.
Very funny, you sparkly skeleton showcase. You need a hand making that one up?
Good effort. Keep trying, because I liked where you were going with that. It had movement and progression. One day you will get a good one, and we will laugh incessantly.
Whatever, Father.
At least you should know where you stand by now. I hope after everything we have done, and everything I have said, that you realize that you can trust in me again, even if it is just a tiny little bit.
Maybe.
To be honest, we can argue until you turn pale, and my right hand fucks off to wherever the left hand went. But at the end of the day, you are still my son, even if you look like you are straight out of a rebellious gang that mugs old ladies. I am just glad that you are finally admitting you do not know shit.
Maybe one day you'll do the same.
Do not bet on it. Hoo hoo ho 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 hoo ho 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 hoo ho 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 ho.
Well, at least you're not violently arguing anymore. How about some tea?
Count me in.
Sure.
Wait, how would you even drink it?
Emperor, that is how.
But didn't you say that using your powers for trivial things was agony?
Using my powers at all is agony, but sometimes it's just too fucking funny not to.
Using cosmic powers to drink tea. That's certainly the father I remember.
Oh, you. Say, here is another 100% beneficial way to make good use of my powers.
I've located the Astronomicon, but...
What is it? Is it signature faint?
No. It's flipping me the bird.
Navigator, how the fifth can a giant holy space beacon flip you the bird?
It's a sign from our Lord of Terror! Everyone must go fuck themselves!
The elder Messiah decreased. I'll go retrieve the power dildo.
You gotta go fuck yourself!
These truly are dark times.
That was absolutely splendid, Father.
You bet. Put him here, son.
Congratulations, my friends. Through the power of friendship, you have found all the artifacts. And now I have returned to bring peace and friendship to the entire Imperium. No matter what the voices in my head say.
You are weak, Vulcan.
Shut your nut-faced brain ghost Ferris. You are not friend.
Yes! Yes! I did it! I am best forge, father!
Hello, my lord.
Good. My sentient newspaper has arrived.
Before we speak, do you have any idea where Magnus is? I've lost track of him.
You lost track of a 12-foot tall demon man as bright red as a dying star. That is truly a great achievement. I know where he is, however. He is busy writing up the first volume of my soon-to-be smash hit book, The Emperor's Guide to the Galaxy, like I asked.
Understood. I was worried he'd be off sacrificing children or something. Yeah, never mind. We have just received a message from the Ultramarines.
Let me guess. They actually managed to do it.
They found the missing artifacts of Vulcan, yes.
That is thoroughly inconceivable. So the relics that the salamanders have been trying to track down for millennia were found by the Ultramarines in less than a year.
Indeed. I did tell you earlier, my lord, they are pretty great.
Almost too great? Actually, not almost, just forthright ridiculously great. I mean, seriously, what exactly makes those baby blue ball busters greater than the Geckomen at being space marines?
Well, my lord, I'm honestly not sure. I do have a few theories, though. One is that the Ultramarines are simply more versatile. As proven in their combat techniques, they're skilled at using a wide variety of weaponry and tactics, while the Salamanders are just about as focused on pyromania as the Sisters of Battle are.
Hold up. I must have forgotten, in my infinite wisdom, about some religious order during the Purge of Terra. These Sisters of Battle you speak of strike me as not being full of muscle-bound battle buddies with exclusively floppy reproductive organs. What precisely are these sisters?
Well, do you remember the lady called Alicia Dominica? The one I brought in here to stop Goj Van Dyer during the Age of Apostasy?
My non-existent genitalia are still trembling in uncertainty.
Essentially, it's an organization of people like her. They're the military arm of the Adeptus Sororitas, which you yourself talked about during the latest answer session. You know, the ones you sent out your erogenous spinets to.
Oh yes, them. That scarcely sounds so grievous after all, seeing as they eliminated that person with the most evil-sounding name I have ever heard. I am most certain they are sensible and rational people.
Yeah, sensible and rational, yes, those are words.
Perhaps I can use them for destructive purposes. If someone would try to prank call me in the future for unspecified reasons, I will be most happy to hear about them later.
Damn it.
Back to the topic. Any other ideas about why the Ultramicronists are doing the heavier work?
Well, my second theory, while it may be subjective, is that I'm fairly sure blue is generally a better color than green. You know how orcs lose most of the time? Maybe there is a connection.
First off, that is fucking stupid. The fact that gold exists makes every other color equally inferior. Secondly, before you go on complaining about the Salamander's scheme, you should see their original paint job.
Did someone smear fermented crocs waste over them?
It did not fly well with the Mechanicus because of how many seizures the paint job prompted, so they went fuck it and slapped a plain coat of green over them instead.
Continuing on to my third point, while still speaking about colours, the Salamanders generally make your regular civilians and whatnot more worried because they are all black.
What?
Their skin colour is black, my lord. They look very unnatural and quite frightening.
That statement would be so damn hysterical if it did not make me cry tears of pure disappointment from my skull.
What do you mean, my lord?
Yo, and by extension most likely the rest of the Imperium, have gone back to the ideals of ancient times, when people bounced around and inanely judged each other's characters solely upon the hue of their epidermis.
What?
This is exactly why regular humans cannot be left unchecked for a single fucking second before they start blaming and beliming each other. I keep on trying to make humanity function on its own, but it just will not stop.
But my lord, I think
Actually, I am going to act like a brain-dead fucking mortal now to... oh boy. I have not seen what sort of coloration you have underneath that golden mirror you call a suit of armor in over 10,000 years. Let me see what kind of pigment your corporeal container has, and I will figuratively pour acid salt all over it.
Wait, I am so confused, my lord. Why are your eyes lighting up and it's going back and go, whoa, wait, what the heck are you doing now?
What the fuck?
Ow. My lord? Was that really necessary?
You're black. But you are shit-talking other blacks. I am confused.
Black? No, I'm not.
Yes, you fucking are. Have you been in that shimmering shell of yours for so long that you forgot you had something under it? Gold is not a skin color, unfortunately.
No, I'd call it, like, brownish? I don't know, it's just some standard skin color, not black like the salamanders.
Then what in the fuck are you trying to say?
Well, my lord, I mean, you know, the salamanders all have a literally pitch black exterior with an almost coal-like skin texture and red glowing eyes. It's like they are bathing in burning promethium on a daily basis.
What are you even on about, Goldilocks?
I am honestly surprised you don't know about this, my lord. I'm certain the salamanders have always looked like that.
Your memory must be distorted from all the smooth, lubricated skin you have consistently been exposed to for these past 10,000 years. Your mind has started fantasizing about big, exotic, crust-covered men to come and take you away to the lands of 1,000 volcano cannons exploding in your face.
That might be true, but it does not affect my argument. Look, you can even see it here.
By terrorists, that is new. I do not remember this being a thing. Is my mind playing tricks on me? Knowing the state of my memory, perhaps I did forget. Now I just feel like some kind of huge dick.
I feel that your heart is in the right place, but you can't be blamed for your degraded memory of things.
Yes, that is correct. As you know, I am always in the right.
So, can I have my armor back? I fear the other custodians will come and lubricate my revealed body parts. And start patting my chest like muscular bongos and...
You are such a fragile little butterflower, aren't you? So, please enlighten me, what in the shitacular showboat actually happened to the salamanders to make them look like this? I am positive at least Vulcan had flesh similar to yours. As bad as my memory is, I should be right about that at least. I mean, I am his fucking father, after all.
I'm fairly certain all salamanders, including Vulcan, have always looked like that, my lord.
I am murderously sure I gave all my children natural human pigments. Why would I ever decide to treat one of my infant sons to a bath in a pit of flaming tar?
I am unsure Magnus and Korax have natural pigments.
Shut up and explain.
Well, I believe their pigment was actually affected over time by their homeworld of Nocturne. Their gene seed does a chemical reaction to the radiation upon the planet, which inherently turns all salamanders jet black, also shifting their eyes to a fiery red.
No, that is just fucking stupid. Why would the one chapter that happened to have people of black pigment as a majority end up turning into vituperative fucking caricatures of their past selves? Must be. That shit's quintessential again.
And now to give the Blood Angels human wings, and the Space Wolves, the wrinkly faces of pugs, all according to my ever-growing schemes.
My lord? I have to ask, do their appearance really matter if they are still loyal and excel as a chapter?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean... Screw this quandary with a fucking jackhammer. Let us just talk about whatever we were discussing before this shitstorm started flailing about the room.
Fair enough, my lord. As I was about to say, another difference between the Ultramarines and the Salamanders are that, while the Salamanders follow the Codex Astartes, they also follow a set of their own doctrines exclusive to the chapter.
Oh, brilliant. More rules I have not been told about.
First off, the Salamanders are very self-reliant and individual for being Astartes. Each Salamander is taught how to repair and improve his own war gear, effectively making them all blacksmiths. No pun intended. Thanks to this, the Salamanders have a lot of mastercraft weaponry and armor in comparison to other Astartes chapters. This is a useful trait when combined with their latent pyromania.
Toastyy tilde.
Speaking of which, just to establish their tactical prowess, several millennia ago, the Salamanders decided to fill an entire city with Promethean to destroy an Orc invasion. The good news is that it worked. The fire even eradicated all Orc spores, stopping any chance of a horde from The bad news is, well, they lit a city on fire.
Well, that is
Okay.
Also, in the case of super heavy vehicles, they primarily tend to use the Land Raider Redeemer, which is basically two gargantuan flamers in the shape of a tank.
As great as that sounds, it also sounds incredibly unconventional.
Not to mention, they also literally wear fire on their armor.
Time out. Are you earnest in this claim? For fuck's sake, do they have a who can't stay on fire the longest contest as well? Or what?
Well, maybe not that. But an ancient ritual amongst the salamanders is that when one of their battle brothers grows too old, is dishonored, or is crippled and unable to fight, they will undergo a ceremony which involves them walking out into the fiery desert to meet their death in flames.
What the fuck?
Another one of their customs is that when a salamander actually dies, their body will be cremated in ritualistic fashion in the flames of a giant volcano called Mount Deathfire.
Is this a Space Marine chapter, or a death metal band?
If they do not manage to get the fallen Astartes back to Nocturne to be cremated, his battle brothers perform a local cremation ritual in which they light the deceased on fire and then all stick their arms into the flames.
Now I am starting to feel uncomfortable.
But when a captain of the salamanders dies, a grand ceremony is initiated when they strap the dead captain to a giant slab of ceramite-coated marble. Two battle brothers dressed in simple robes then proceed to lower the slab and the captain into a pool of lava. The battle brothers chosen to do this would have their own hands scalded with the white-hot chains that suspended the slab as they lowered it down. They have to do it in perfect unison, as the chains are engraved with the salamander's iconography, making the battle brothers' hands have permanent third-degree burns with the semblance of a hammer, an anvil, and a flame upon their palms.
Now this is just becoming fetishistic.
With the death of a captain, a new one has to ascend to the ranks, of course. In the ritual of ascension, they take the soon-to-be captain and strip him down to only his sash. He is then branded with a mark on his chest and shoulder as to signify his captainship. Then he is placed upon a platform in his undraped splendor, and is subject to an extreme pillar-like inferno launched from below that surrounds him for a few seconds. The ritual is then concluded with the words, "Vulcan's fire burns in my breast. With it I shall smite the foes of the Emperor."
They are taking that passage pretty damn literally, it seems. Seriously. Is this troubling craving for flames a side effect of me placing them a bit too close to some candles when they were just little gene seeds in a tube? Why do so many of my sons have such revolting compulsions?
Oh, my lord, it's not your fault.
That is definitely correct. I never do anything wrong ever.
Well, anyway, even if they have such a blatant fixation with fire, they are still one of your finest. They are a chapter that, despite their imposing looks, do an outstanding job caring for and protecting civilians, often acting as rearguard in several confrontations.
That must go superbly for them, considering their specialization with such short-range weaponry.
The population is always grateful for it. One instance was that during the Second War of Armageddon, when all the chapters involved were waging war on all different fronts, the salamanders picked up the dangerously neglected task of handling supplies, escorting refugees, and helping the defenseless. In the battles upon the planet of Armageddon, the salamanders fought for the planet's people, and generally frowned upon the notion that the populace of the Imperium were of no worth. These ideals are actually so strongly held by the salamanders that their chapter master, Tushan, came blows with the first captain of a chapter known as the Marines Malevolent. The captain had early bombarded a refugee camp that had been ambushed by orcs, so he said that he didn't have time to waste on saving the civilians. This greatly angered Tushan and made the Marines Malevolent generally seem like total arse clowns.
Those Marines Malevolent seem to be suffering from GOG Evandire syndrome. Seriously, who in their right mind openly names their chapter Malevolent?
Nobody. The Marines Malevolent don't seem to have anything right about them. Even their color scheme seems rather obnoxious.
It is like they took the Salamander's previous color scheme and removed everything even remotely good about it. I will have to pencil in a virus bombing upon this abomination. On a side note, it is a good thing Yo inserted this image visualizer into the Golden Throne. It makes exposition much easier.
Agreed, my lord. Either way, I hope you do see how the salamanders are still one of your finest in this regard. They stay true to their Primarch and you in both code and mannerisms.
Yes, that is all absolutely fantastic, but there is just one problem.
Pyrophilia, my lord?
Other than that, at the beginning of this conversation, I actually asked Yo to provide evidence that the Ultramarines are greater than the Salamanders. Now Yo have just set them up to be creepy but nice guys with a thing for helping people. And fire.
Oh. They found the artifacts before the salamanders?
I want to say you are not proving a fucking thing, but I cannot say that without being wrong, and I am of course never wrong as already established.
Well, my lord, the Ultramarines will most likely live long, eventually fading into legend with their deeds and self-publicism. but the salamanders will continue to burn like a mighty flame in the hearts of the people they have defended.
It is better to burn out than to fade away.
Yes, indeed, my lord. Yes, indeed.
Seriously though, next time I meet Vulcan I am going to tell him to take his sons on a field trip to a freezing cold ice planet for a couple of years so they can reorient their fucking perspective.
Life's not all fire and flames, am I right, my lord?
No, especially in the case of the mangy fur balls of Fenris. I bet Lee Man and his band of puppies are still sitting about trying to figure out how friction works. Actually, Ghost should tell me about their drunken tirades next.
Ah, right. Of course, my lord.
No! You must not speak of the wolves.
Who dares suddenly interject things in my presence? Oh look, it is my precious little sentry bubble. How is my sweetheart doing today?
Father, your sweetheart was I, Rogel Dorn.
My lord! Ah! Yes? What is it you want? You didn't hear anything, right? Not that we were talking about anything. We like snuggling up close and whispering nice things into each other's ears.
I know, Lord Israel. This is the 30th time you've told me.
But you may wish to know we have pursued the most mysterious lead you wished us to follow, and we've once again found the lost strike cruiser.
The Ophidian God.
Tampers, Israel, did you hear that? We're totally gonna find Cypher now!
Azrael! There's blood all over the floor now. I really don't want to get that on my armor. It's all murky, probably stains easily.
Well, we'll soon be making fall upon the planet to which we've been led.
That is all.
Thank you, dismissed. Oh, remember to close the door, but not too harshly.
Yes, Lord Belial. I won't close the automatic door too rashly.
Did he just mouth me?
Brothers, we're in some deep shit now. If we don't find Cypher, the Inquisition will be after us for sure. They'll start noticing that one of their Inquisitors are missing.
Hey, we're not Supreme Grandmaster. We've hidden the corpse of that stupid Inquisitor in a place where no one will find him. Hacked up in small dried up bits, put it into small packages, and donated his food rations to the death corpse of Creed.
Do those Creek fellows even eat?
I don't know!
We don't have time for this, Asmodai! Cypher and the Fallen are escaping further away from us the longer we linger! We have to—
Excuse me, my lord.
Ah! No, you heard nothing! I mean, yes, you heard something, but it was certainly nothing suspicious and secretly heretical. Damn it, what do you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you again, but we have discovered sentient activity upon the planet's surface.
What? No! I mean, yes! What is it?
It appears to be the Adeptus Mechanicus, my lords.
The Adeptus Mechanicus arrived on the planet before us? Oh, this is such a shameful moment. I'm totally useless. Nobody loves me.
This can only mean one thing! One terrifying thing!
The Adeptus Mechanicus is working for the Fallen!
My lord, what are the Fallen?
Make him repent, Asmodai.
Repent, motherfucker!